What if your father left your brother millions, your sister luxury cars, and left you with nothing but a small white envelope? An envelope so laughable that your entire family mocked you. But inside that envelope was a single word that would uncover a decades-long secret. Destroy an empire and rewrite everything you thought you knew about the man who raised you. This is the story of how one word, truth, brought down a $58 million pharmaceutical dynasty. When my father, Vernon Mercer, died, the family gathered in the mansion for the will reading. My brother Preston inherited Mercer Pharmaceuticals, worth $58 million, along with our family's 12-bedroom estate overlooking the Pacific. My sister Bianca received his prized collection of 17 luxury cars, including the cherry-red 1967 Ferrari 275 GTB he polished more often than he ever spoke to me. And me? I'm Dalton Mercer, the disappointment, the son who chose to study fish instead of finance, the marine biologist instead of the businessman. I was left with a single envelope. The room erupted with laughter. Preston doubled over, wheezing in his Armani suit. Bianca covered her mouth, pretending to hide her amusement. Even Quentin Hale, the lawyer who had managed my father's affairs for 3 decades, looked at me with pity as he handed it over. That night, in my tiny studio apartment, I poured myself a glass of cheap whiskey and finally opened it. Inside was a single word written in my father's precise handwriting. Truth, and beneath it an address. Zimmermann Private Bank, Bahnhofstrasse 12, Zurich, Switzerland. At first I thought it was some cruel joke, but 1 week later, I stood in front of that bank's black marble entrance, exhausted and clutching the envelope like a ticket I wasn't sure I wanted to cash. A guard checked my name and immediately made a call. Moments later, a distinguished man with silver hair appeared. "Mr. Mercer," he said, extending his hand, "I'm Roland Zimmermann. We've been waiting for you for 17 years. Zimmermann led me deep underground into a vault protected by codes, palm scans, and keys. He placed a thick folder in front of me. On top was a photograph of a young man in a laboratory, smiling. A man I barely recognized. My father, but not as Vernon Mercer. Zimmermann's voice was calm, heavy with meaning. Your father's real name was Otto Richter. He was born in East Germany in 1952. At 26, he invented a revolutionary antibiotic that could save millions at almost no cost. But his partners were murdered, the lab destroyed, and his work stolen by an American company that would later become Mercer Pharmaceuticals. The real Vernon Mercer had died in a car crash in 1979. My father stole his identity, escaped East Germany, and spent the next 40 years working his way into the very empire that profited from his stolen discovery. And he had documented everything: bribes, stolen patents, scientists silenced, even Preston, accepting money to keep affordable drugs off the market. Then Zimmermann handed me a bank statement. "This is your real inheritance. $63 million your father earned legitimately, kept apart from the corruption. But it comes with a condition. You must use it to expose everything. He chose you because you walked away from the business. You're the only one with clean hands." Finally, Zimmermann gave me a letter in my mother's handwriting. Her words made my throat tighten. "Your father was never the cold man he pretended to be. Every harsh word was to push you away from the corruption. One child had to remain untainted. That child was you. Now you must decide. Take the money and disappear, or finish what Otto started. Use the truth." 6 months later, the headlines read, "Pharmaceutical Giant Falls. Founder's Son Exposes Decades of Corporate Crimes. 17 executives indicted. Billions in settlements. A restructuring of drug pricing that would save countless lives." I watched as Preston was led out of court in handcuffs, his confident smile finally gone. He hissed at me. "You destroyed everything Dad built." "No," I whispered back. "I destroyed everything Otto Richter had stolen from him." Bianca sold the cars and donated the money, trying to cleanse her inheritance. The mansion was seized and turned into a rehabilitation center for opioid victims. For the first time, justice bloomed in the garden where my mother's roses once grew. As for me, I used $30 million to build the Judith Mercer Marine Conservation Center on the California coast. Named after my mother, it is dedicated to studying coral reefs, ocean acidification, and climate change. Honest science. Work that won't make me rich, but might help save the planet. In my office, I keep 2 photos. One of my mother, smiling by the ocean, and one of Otto Richter, young and full of hope before everything was stolen from him. Sometimes I wonder what his final thoughts were before he died pretending to be Vernon Mercer. I believe after 40 years of living a lie, he was finally free. My father didn't leave me money, cars, or mansions. He left me something more valuable. He left me the truth, and that truth became the weapon that set people free, exposed corruption, and allowed me to build a legacy rooted not in greed, but in integrity. So if you found this story powerful, remember, Sometimes the smallest inheritance carries the greatest value. Like this video if you believe truth is stronger than wealth. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe for more stories that remind us that family is not about blood or money. It's about the choices we make and the truths we are brave enough to tell. Because the most valuable things in life often come in the smallest packages.